Okay, hey, welcome back to another hour with Crowder. Yo, we got Rick Rock, then you don't stop in the building. We got Malik, the devil's advocate, over there. Shit, we got E on the boards. We got Heather somewhere in the building. This is an hour with Crowder. We here. What up, y'all?
Hey.
Yo, what up?
Beautiful.
Damn, you get back from that damn LA trip.
Absolutely.
Feeling
absolutely.
icy, feeling blessed.
Blessed. The sunlight was amazing. The views were absolutely beautiful.
It is.
Um,
I'm from Cali, so I feel all that you're feeling right now.
yeah, I will stay there for about 15 years.
Okay, so the point is that I'm from there, and I feel what you're feeling right now. And then when you said beautiful, I recognized that you were talking about me, so I received that.
Man, we gonna get straight into it. We got a couple of these good ass topics today. It's gonna be a good ass show. We got some opinionated people in here, and
Isn't that what you wanted?
Yep, and
Okay.
let's go ahead and get into the BLM. As you guys know, the BLM, they brought out several demands to Biden. Don't know why they think that they're gonna get like some fucking talk from that dude because he's already president. He don't want to talk to you. You already gave him all the fucking leverage. But let's just hear some of the demands that they're trying to get to him. Number one, convict and ban Trump from future politic offices, expel Republican members of Congress who attempt to overturn the election and incite a white supremacy act. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't read. I'm just really toe up. Attack. Launch,
I appreciate your honesty.
Launch a full investigation into the ties between white supremacy and a Capitol Police, law enforcement, and the military. Permanently ban Trump from all digital media platform. Defund the police. Don't let the co-op be used as an excuse to crack down on our movement. Pass the Breathe Act. Some of those, I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all guys give y'all take on it first because I just at this point I think everybody in the audience know how I really feel about BLM. So
Let's see. Just to break down a few of them, where it was like throw out the senators, you know what I'm saying, and let's just kick Trump off of all the like media sites. When I hear stuff like that, it makes me question the leadership in BLM.
Okay.
Like when they say, okay, well, you should ban Trump from all like social media sites and all that other shit. Like, so you want the president to make private companies ban someone. And I just think when you start thinking like that, you open the door. Like if that happens, what if the next president, they do that with y'all?
I agree with you in the sense of and I'll be honest and say I don't have the research, but let's just say from what we were able to see from the backlash of having the first and only black president. You know, so what if there was an extremist group that had these demands on Obama? Then what would Black Lives Matter say at that point? You know, what would Al Sharpton say at that point? What would, Benjamin Crump, what would they all say at this point if a white supremacy group said, these are our demands against Barack Obama?
Like I said, I've been pretty critical of BLM from the get-go. I just think that every group, including the Trump protest and everything, QAnon, all of those crazy wacky ass groups, I think that they get co-opted, like they get taken over by the powers to be, the government or whatever. But my thing is, he's not even the president anymore. Like at some point, we got to stop blaming Trump for all of the political problems. And another thing is like, why is the black community or this black organization like letting Trump live rent free in their head. He's not even fucking president anymore.
But
But-
there's
So
the
it's like,
threat that, but there is the very real threat, or and what and not and you know is
What is
in the
the
black community. Well, I say in the black community, you know, when we really mean something, we say this ain't a threat, this is a promise. So what we are hearing from his supporters is a, you know, as far as they're concerned, there's a promise that he's coming back. They are saying we are promising that we're going to do everything we can to bring him back. My concern is when I hear these demands, I feel like let's get some real demands on the table. Let's get some real demands about, you know, about the inequities, about health care, about making sure that our children have equal education, housing. Let's get some real demands on the table. I feel like these are.
And what's equal education to you? And also when you say equity and so forth, because when I hear people say like, oh, well, you know, Barack didn't do anything for us, Biden didn't do anything for us, oh, they did everything for the LGBT community, and I'm like what exactly were you expecting from Biden and when Barack was president that he can actually do within the government? Like, I think Biden would do a lot more things that he's doing now, but with how Congress and Senate is set up, he can't.
I don't know about that. I don't think anybody. First of all, I would just really like black people to just step away from politics, honestly. Like, I know it sounds like a very dramatic, rebellious thing to do, but we do need to step away from government, because the reason why we don't get laws changed, and just to the point of what you were saying, like, I think that Biden would do a lot more. The president can do like a lot more, because the whole thing was that, okay, well, Barack didn't do this or whatever, and Biden did this, but Barack could have did something for black people in specific, because
Like what?
Biden just got through over there passing an executive order for the Stop the Asian Hate. He just gave them a whole protection clause.
Okay, all right, so
He could have done it. Obama could have.
okay, but like, what?
Can I just answer that your question? And I'm not trying to interrupt. Let me just answer that question. So when you asked me about education,
Mm-hmm.
so I went to 2 HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I don't mean to age myself, but when I, you know, my junior year of college and you have to start deciding on colleges, I went to a pretty, you know, in our community, pretty, you know, upper middle class,
Mm-hmm.
black private school.
Mm-hmm.
And you had counselors saying, hey, you need to go to UCLA, you need to go to USC, you need to go to Harvard. So I ended up going to 2 HBCUs. Where the inequity is that why isn't, and, you know, everybody's going to hate on me because I ain't go to Howard, but why doesn't Tennessee State stand up against or compare to Harvard? Why doesn't Tuskegee, Wiley College, Paul Quinn, FAMU, why don't these colleges? So if you say, I'm going to go to Jackson State, then someone says, oh, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But if you say, I'm going to go to Michigan State, then they're like, oh, yeah, go.
Okay. All right. So my question, when people say stuff like that and they bring up the different black colleges and the differences between, you know, the most well-known black colleges and the ones that are lesser known, could it be that the donations and the alumni are more willing and well known with those schools as opposed to a Jackson State? And forgive me because I don't know, like the other lack of a better word.
Well, I mean,
lesser
there's, you
known.
know, there's Morris Brown and there's
Right.
like I said, there's there's so many HBCUs. I will agree with that, because what I do find is that Black colleges are recognized by the athletes they produce.
Mm-hmm.
They're not recognized by the doctors, the lawyers, the journalists,
Mm-hmm.
the entrepreneurs. They're not recognized by that. So, you know, like I said, I went to Tennessee State, and it was, and I forgive me, I don't remember, unfortunately, I hate to say that the man who was killed by his mistress, he was an athlete. He went to Tennessee State.
Yeah,
But
McNair.
when I went to Tennessee State, it was athlete, 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 athlete. But what I experienced with Tennessee State University was, you know, just the culture and the camaraderie and understanding that I was on a campus with, you know, with professors and administrators and friends who had my back, like something that I had never experienced in a predominantly white college when I went to Wiley College. I have friends from Wiley, you know, 20, 25 years in, and the bad thing is, the unfortunate thing is if I say I went to Wiley, you know, versus, or I applied at Wiley versus saying that I applied at UCLA, then people are saying, oh God, you know, ugh. But my professors at Wiley and Tennessee State were just as hard on me as any other university. The education is there. The desire from the professors are there. It's just the fact that you put this disdain on them that, oh, it's a Black college. But I think that that's the absolute best experience I've ever had. I told my daughter, she's going to be a surgeon. I said, you're going to a Black college. But as a parent, people would judge me more by saying, you're going to FAMU, you're going to Howard, you're going to Tennessee State, more than if I said, oh, no, she's going to Harvard.
So you're saying that there is good education at Black
There's
schools.
excellent education at Black schools.
So in the beginning you said, you know, let's put some real demands on the list. Let's get better education. But you're saying that it's better education at Black schools. So
let me back up and say, let's recognize that there is better education.
Okay.
So,
Let's recognize that.
There we go.
But
So-
how does that correlate with you asking Biden for, you know what I'm saying? Like, or better yet, like, are you asking for, okay, well, we think that we should get the exact same funding if they get funding from the government, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yes.
like, if you give Harvard $100 million, you know what I'm saying? Well, then we
Jackson
feel like
State should get
Jackson
$100
should.
million.
But that comes from alumni.
Yeah, I
That,
mean,
that money that
Okay.
that schools get come from alumni, and yeah, they cut contracts with the government and stuff, but most of it comes from just alumni coming back.
But you
and
just said,
fundraising.
If the government gives a certain amount of money to Harvard, why is the government not giving a certain amount of? And if the government gives a certain amount of money to schools in Frisco, why aren't the schools in Oak Cliff getting the same amount of money?
Taxes.
Because okay, in
The
my
taxes are
I live
higher
in
in
Carrollton.
Frisco.
I live in Carrollton right now. They're doing construction in my lily white neighborhood. And what they do is they make sure that they do not inconvenience the homeowners. Why is this not happening in DeSoto?
okay, because see, this is why I am so for voting. Like,
Oh, God.
like,
Voting.
what? Like,
Voting. Oh,
so,
Jesus.
okay, all right. So, I just feel like you should vote. Like, your vote literally matters, and I'm talking about not just every 4 years. I'm talking about
At the
Every
local
your
single
district,
election, yes.
At the local
like,
levels.
your county. And I think a lot of the issues that a lot of Black people talk about and have is because we don't go out and vote.
I
Now-
agree with that.
Now,
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish your point because I really
Okay, go
that
ahead.
was what,
Now-
what I was getting up to.
now, I admit, like, there are some counties where, due to gerrymandering, you know what I'm saying, it makes it hard, even though there may be an entirely, the majority of the population is a Black district, because of how gerrymandering goes and so forth. Somehow it ends up being, belonging to the Republicans or so forth like that. But other than that, like if you stay in a predominantly Black or Latino neighborhood and you don't own your district and you're complaining about the problems that's going on, that problem starts with you.
And that's a good point. That's why I want Black people to step away from government, because half the shit that we asked in for the government to fix, we can do it on our own. Like, I don't believe in voting. I think that the best thing that Black people can do is do for themselves, because we're sitting around waiting for a government that have done us wrong so many times, and we don't have leverage. Like, I want everybody to go and read Dr. Claude Anderson.
I love Dr. Claude Anderson.
Powernomics.
Oh my
He
God.
teaches you how to make yourself an asset in the government.
Yes.
Black people are not an asset in the government because we do not buy our politicians. That's basically what voting is who has the most money, who can, put into my campaign. So if you're not putting money into these people campaigns, a big reason why the LGBT community got the laws passed that they got passed was because of money. They poured into Obama's campaign. So it's quid pro quo, something for something. Black people don't get anything because we don't pour into their campaigns.
Well, we got to pay our tithes, so.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's why I want Black people to step away. Like, it's this young man called Devante. He was running for District 7 in Oak Cliff or something like that. Devante Peters. I wanted him on the podcast so bad because I wanted to have this conversation with him about, you have this great influence, like almost to like the level of like Malcolm X. Like, he owns a store in South Dallas. It's a holistic store. So he already got the people on his side. And then he was asking for donations and he was actually getting them. Okay, if you have that influence to do that and get money from your community, you own a store, you have influence, now you have money. Why are you going to take that influence, put it into a campaign, and then go run with the people that already oppress us? Just take the money and start building up the community on your own. You don't need the government is the middleman, I feel.
Well, because at some point, in order to build, he's going to have to get into contracts with. I mean, at a certain point, when you get a certain level of money, unfortunately, you're going to deal with the powers that be. Yep. So I can't agree with him running for a political position, because of that political position, then you can say, because I am congressman, because I am this is the power that I have.
But then we get in the same problem of the stipulations that you don't really run it. It's a whole bunch of other subdivisions within politics that checks you, and then you check them, and then they check. Yes. Yeah, so it's like if everybody checking everybody, and it's one person that's in there that's like, no, I don't think this is it. And then we're all going by this voting system, and we already know that the powers to be. We don't know enough about politics, and we don't get out and vote. So
I think we're trusting too much.
Exactly. We giving them way too much fucking power. It's kind of like,
we don't go out and try and learn anything. Like, if you ask the average person,
they always switch the damn rules at the very fucking last minute. It's like, just like with the Libertarian Party. Okay, with the Republican and the Democrat is already established parties. That's why most people, when they get into politics and they run to be the president, they pick either or, even though they don't really align with either one of them. They just pick the one that has the most values. And so they don't have to get signatures to run, because when you're a libertarian and you're independent, you have to get like a petition of like double of what a Republican or a Democrat has to get. And it's like, why do they have to get, if they're the third party, why do they have to get a petition signed with signatures and shit to run? Why?
But if
their
your
campaign is paid
policy
for,
is strong enough, or policies are strong enough, or people know you well enough, I don't think it should be a problem. It's like, oh, okay, like, hey,
But the Republicans and the Democrats don't have to do that. Only Libertarian. But that was just an example. But I'm just saying, like, if we have to go through all of these fucking loops, like, and yes, you will eventually have to bump into the city or the government or whatever. But if you go and buy you a piece of land or buy you a store or something, and then you just start building that, and then you take the money from the community and build some more and build some more, then you don't have to worry about the government because
yes,
it don't
you
matter.
do,
not
because
necessarily
you
true.
will still be under the
That's
control
not necessarily true.
of the
because-
district.
You will, but I'm saying that it'll be yours. You don't
No.
have to worry about, like, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if black people do, like Chinese people, they don't necessarily really care
it's
about
a
fucking
different-
politics because they own all that shit. It don't matter who the fuck is in office. Guess what? Black people still about to go get their hair done, their nails done, all that shit. So they
And
don't
you
give a
think
fuck who the
in
president
these
is.
districts and counties that have predominantly Asians or so forth, they don't have any of their people on that
No, I'm not saying if it's a bad thing or a good thing. Like me personally, do what you want to do. Vote how you want to vote. But I'm saying that we've been voting for a very long
No, we
time now.
haven't.
Okay, let me say
we
this.
have been voting for at least 40 years. At least 40 years we've been voting. When did black people start voting? What's the year? Because I want to know. Because
I'm talking
we've been
about,
voting for
like,
a little
if you
bit.
look at the complete percentage.
What? Let me
Like,
say.
hold on.
Okay,
I just
I
want to say
agree.
this. I guarantee if you were to go out and let's just say you were walking to a bar, you saw 20 black people, and you asked every last one of them, "Hey, did you vote?" I guarantee you will have no more than maybe 4 or 5
more
motherfuckers
people
that
saying
said
fuck
they
that
voted.
as opposed to voting.
And
now let me say this. I'm sorry.
ahead. No,
Okay.
go ahead.
So in response to what you were saying, so I have dated a Nigerian. I'm dating an Indian man, and I will say this. And my grandmother said this a long time ago. My grandmother was a very evil woman, very wise, but she told me a long time ago, and it didn't make sense. She said, an African man can come to this country, an Asian man, an Indian man can come to this country. She said they're going to oppress the African man. They're going to fund the Indian and the Asian man. So the Nigerian man that I dated, by trade, he was a engineer in Nigeria. Last time I talked to him, he was still doing Uber. The Indian guy that I'm with now said in a conversation, technically I'm an immigrant, but when I came here, all of a sudden he became an engineer. So what I'm saying is that, you know, and Nipsey Hussle, that's my hero. You know, long live Nipsey Hussle. That's what Nipsey was trying to do. Nipsey was trying to grow the community. He was doing everything that he could to grow the community. The meeting that he was supposed to have before he was assassinated and, you know, right hand of God,
man.
I still believe he was assassinated by
No,
the government.
he was not.
Okay, well, that's me. That's
Okay.
me. That's someone who
We will definitely
who loves
talk about
Cali
that.
to the motherfucking bone. But before he died, he was supposed to have a meeting with LAPD to bring the community together. But the reality of it is there was still red tape. The red tape that is there for a black man is not there for an Asian, is not there for an Indian. I'm telling you, dating someone who's Indian is not there. The guy that I'm dating has been in this country the same amount of time as the Nigerian I was dating. Nigerian is driving for Uber. Indian is an engineer making $100,000 a year.
Are they circumstances exactly the same?
That
And
okay.
in terms of, I don't know the gentleman's name, the Nigerian.
I'm not revealing anybody's name.
Well, I wasn't asked first.
Okay.
Did he go through everything that it took for him to make that transition? Because, and I can say this as a person who's been to prison and shit, you know, thank God, never been back. I've met so many people that made excuses and they kept going back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will say, oh, well, you know, I did this, I tried that. May try it like 1 or 2 times and give up. So now if this is a situation where the Nigerian, he exhausted all avenues and it turned out that way, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Another situation, she tried like one or 2 ways. Okay, well, shit, fuck it, because there are a lot of us do that. Like, we're not gonna play. Like, a lot of motherfuckers that say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do something, woo the woo."
And
You know
we
what I'm saying?
don't
Try
do
it
it.
one or two times, and because they don't go the way that we want it, we completely give up on it. We don't persevere through shit enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about that on another podcast, and I want to talk about mindsets, and I want to talk about psychological warfare against Black people. But we'll do that on another episode.
Who all going back to church just yet?
Shit, not me.
You going back to church?
I haven't been to
me.
church in a very long time because of something that I saw that I really didn't sit right with me.
Church
and-
hurt.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Church
But
hurt.
like, I still go to YouTube and I'll listen to like
University.
certain ministers. Like, we were talking about something earlier, and like, my opinion was just, I look at church. I don't feel the need to go in person anymore. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can get the word that I need, you know, off social media, to be completely honest.
I think so.
Hold on, let me finish.
No, I'm looking at the camera. So before
okay,
you
all right.
had to check someone.
But I just feel like with church and all religion, and I heard this guy say this one time, and I always remember it. He said, religion and church is kind of like eating fish, where you can get some good things out of it, but you have to watch out for the bones. And I think that there are always some good gems that you can pick up from church. You know, like, if I don't have it, I don't have it. Like, ties is just gonna have to skip me. You know, and a lot of times, like, I feel like I don't need to. Of course, there are those situations where I may want to be in that kind of space or that energy, you know. But for the most part, like, no. Like, I can throw TD Jakes.
What a fucking crook.
And
That guy.
yeah, okay, but I don't
Fucking
know.
crook.
But as far as what he's saying, like, if I'm going through something, you know what I'm saying, I can type in something, you know what I'm saying, and I will hear something that will make me feel better and feel good. You know what I'm saying? And he very well may be a crook. But like I said, it's just like eating fish. You know what I'm saying? Even with a fucking idiot, if you talk to him long enough, you gonna find a gem out that motherfucker. Like God,
Was that the
damn,
episode of
like,
Black Dynamite, the cartoon? He was like, I never thought I would get some wisdom from a ninja. Like,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I agree with you on that. I think that the Black community, like earlier when you were saying that we're basically about that thing.
You better not talk about my pastor.
I think that, like Malik said, we throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because a lot of things in the Bible doesn't line up. Then we're just willing to be like, okay, this one thing doesn't make sense to me, and this one thing is fucking wrong, so the whole book is wrong. Fuck it. When last time I checked, I try to go by the 10 Commandments every day, like, don't rob, don't steal, don't kill, don't fucking lie. Like, those are like genuine rules that I think every human has, like, embedded in them from birth. Like, don't be stealing shit, but don't be stealing shit, don't be lying, you know. And because we've thrown that out, then we're just like, you know, to hell with it. But I think that with the church, we should utilize it, because so many Black people already fucking believe in it and go by it. We should utilize it. They making money, so why don't the church, you know, build a business? Where's the Potter House Bank? Where's the Potter House School? Where's the Potter House grocery store? Where is that shit? If you're making all this money to build this beautiful cathedral on the highway, where are the things in that community to show that the church is helping the community out? It ain't just getting tithes and buying Ferraris. Not saying that dude does, because I don't know his life, but buying Ferraris and building this crazy looking church and all of this stuff. Like, we need to start the only way the church will gain the youth, because the youth, I don't know if y'all know about the youth, but they're They're not messing with the church no more. They think it's wrong, and they think that they're thieves. What better way to reverse that and start putting things in the community that have the church's name on it, so they know that, hey, don't go to Walmart. We have fresh fruits and vegetables from farm grown here. Hey, you ain't got to go to Bank of America and get turned down for a business loan. Come to Potter House Bank. You ain't got to go to Parkland and wait in fucking line and all that. You can go to Potter's House Hospital. Like, why are they just taking all this money and hoarding it? I don't know what they exactly do with it. I mean, paying bills.
I can answer that.
And like you said, I'm almost to an end, but like you said, like, everything's virtual now. Forget the building. In the Bible, it say the church is in your heart. So if the church is in your heart, what the hell we need the building for at this point if everything's virtual?
So
I just feel like everybody this Sunday, Sundays tomorrow, go to your pastor and ask him, what is the business plan for this church? What's the
afraid to ask?
What? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask, what's the bill? Because I saved up a shit ton of money during COVID, like a shit ton of money, like it's a brick, and I'm a little reluctant to give that brick over to the church. But you know what? I want everybody this Sunday, it's Saturday right now, go ask your pastor, what is the business plan for this church? If he does not have a business plan for your church within 6 months, leave, because he's only worried about the afterlife. But what about this life? We live here right now. So why does this dimension that we're on have to be hell? And then when we get to the next life, then it's all glory. No, I want a little piece of heaven here too. I don't think that I should be struggling and scratching and surviving, good timing down here. And then when I get to the afterlife, I have a gold mansion. I mean, what good is a gold mansion when I'm dead? I that's the only thing that I have now. I ain't throwing out the Bible because it got some gems in there. But I am wondering, in this physical plane, what is the church providing for the black community? Too many damn churches in the community for everything to look raggedy. And then they have to bring in white people to gentrify the neighborhood that the churches should have been doing already. And that goes back to my other point of the other topic, doing for self.
So, my experience with church has been this. What I do for a living professionally, I drive all day. And from DeSoto to North Dallas to South Dallas to South Lake to, North Fort Worth, I remember driving one day and I said, all of these churches have the same structure now. All of the buildings look like, if you pass by them, they look like small corporations. If you look at the structure, it's funny to me because they're all about 3 or 4 stories, the stone and the large windows, and they all seem to come to an angle like this. So when you read the Bible, Yeshua, I don't agree with saying Jesus Christ. That's whitewashed. Yeshua in the Bible went through a temple, which essentially would look like the churches that we have today. Last church I went to had a damn coffee bar that was equivalent to Starbucks. And these are the places that Yeshua went through and made a whip out of cords and said, this is not what's supposed to be happening in my Father's house. For the first time in a long time, I'm going to say, I'm not going to sit here and judge someone's heart. I will say that from what I've seen is that people may go into that with pure intentions to help people. But I think when you start counting money and then you have to say, well, I need this person here and I need this person doing that, then it does become a corporation and paying bills over what the true intention of the heart is. Where I'm frustrated with the black church is, like you said, it feels like you have everyone who has stepped outside of religion saying, and I can't remember the names, the brothers who are starting the Greenwood, the Black Bank. They're not glorifying a church or a pastor. You're talking about, even for myself, one of my goals is to re-gentrify our black neighborhoods, but that didn't happen until I left the church, because when I was at the church, I was coerced every 2 weeks. You need to be dropping $300-$400 in church. But there were times when I would go to church and say, God, I just need $20. I just need $20 to make it to next week. When I was married, we hit a financial hardship. And I remember asking a church, 2 churches, one in South Lake and one in Plano. And those 2 churches are connected by one pastor. And I remember
so he got 2 businesses.
Asking for money because we were about to lose our house. And I had to fill out a 30-page document, about why I needed money. And in it, I was being chastised as to they wanted our bank statement. It was like going through closing. It was like going through closing on my house. And quite honestly, the reason I didn't turn the paperwork in, because I was so stressed out because I thought we were going to lose our house, that 2 days before I was supposed to give my bank statements, it had fucking specs on there because, God damn it, I was stressed out, and we went to specs. But we knew we could not turn that into the church without being judged. If we're all supposed to bring all the tithes into the storehouse, and God says, bring the tithes into the storehouse to help each other, give, and you will receive, pressed down, shaken together, pouring up. Why is it then I have to fill out a 30-page document to get help with my mortgage? When if you look at my tithing record, I've given you triple what my mortgage is.
Do anybody own a black Suburban here?
No.
Okay. No. My bad.
No, you're fine. No, because I don't want to get a ticket. I remember sitting in church and listening to a sermon, and when I was going through my divorce, because at the time that we were going through my divorce, he made more than me, and I did not make a lot, and I'm thinking, oh God, how am I going to support 2 kids off of what I made? And I remember listening, and the pastor said, this is how God works. All the tithe, everyone who's paying their tithe, all your cars in the parking lot, God is covering those cars. But if you don't pay your tithes, the spirit of Satan is coming down on your car. And I remember as a single mother sitting in church about to cry, thinking that when I came outside, my car would not work. I've gone through so many years of feeling condemned, feeling hatred, feeling disconnected, not understanding, not having knowledge of who God is, because religion told me basically I ain't shit. And what we don't see in the black community is I didn't learn about investing until I became a single mom. Mm-hmm. I didn't learn about, setting. So as far as child support with me is, I don't see it. I make sure that my daughters will never have to pay a student loan. But see, we don't, what you're taught in the black church, all churches, bring me that tithe. If you don't bring me that tithe, God's going to fuck you up. So how am I supposed to serve that kind of God? Mm-hmm. And the reality of the Bible is really, I want to say maybe Dr. Claude Anderson, and forgive me if I'm wrong. He said, I'm not negating the Bible as Holy Scripture. I'm not. But what I'm saying is even the way that we're taught to interpret it in the church is wrong. Like, the Bible is kind of like, all right, here's what I'm saying, but I want you to see up under that.
Like,
we're not taught to see up. We're not taught to read the code.
Mm-hmm. And one part of that is because it was translated so many times. So something, you see it all the time on Facebook. If somebody, like, you go to a Spanish post or something like that, and everybody's talking in Spanish in the thread, and then you say, see, or translate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it'll be like, in Spanish, it'll be like, if you translated it to English, it'll be like, dog I see. But you know what they're talking about, but they had to get it to the closest that they could translate it so you can understand it in your language. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, it was written in Hebrew first, and then Latin, and then Greek, and then Old English, and then now this
and that's
English.
Broken down to the new international version,
Yeah.
then
So
the
it's like
message version, and then
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah, so then it's like a big phone. It's like a big game of telephone at this point. Is that somebody in Hebrew said something to somebody in Latin, and then somebody in Latin said something to somebody in Greek, and then you get to the end, and it's like, dog, I see.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's like, I think, honestly, to just scrub that up and fix that problem,
I'm gonna have to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
And say, like, that was an amazing analogy.
Oh, the telephone game? I say it all the time.
You just like dog I see, and how you just like somebody in Greek to Italian, and now it's just dog I see. All right, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, basically, and then you take one person that's gonna translate that doesn't even speak Hebrew from the beginning to tell you in English what the fuck the guy said in Hebrew. So it's just like, I think all pastors should learn it in its original text, which is Hebrew first, so then you can figure out like what it really means, instead of saying like just preaching from the New Revised Bible.
Don't they do that at pastor school?
Seminary
I don't know.
school?
Like,
Seminary.
No, go
They
up
don't?
to your pastor right
they're
now and ask
supposed
them
to.
Hebrew right
They're
now. Say
supposed
something in
to.
Hebrew.
They're supposed to, but what we have discovered is that when you in this feel good ministry now, the last pastor that I listened to wasn't really different from Tony Robinson. I want to make you feel good. I want to motivate you to make you feel good, because if you feel good, then you're going to give more money. So I can take a sermon and remove scripture from it, and I can still make you feel good.
Or I could just say the whole chapter is maybe like 2 scrolls long. What would be scrolls? But then they only preach, verse 2 through 3. And we're just going to harp on this. But if you read the chapter in its entirety, the message totally changes.
Well, that's just like in Jeremiah. Everyone says, for I know the plans that I have for you, to prosper you. Well, if you read before it, God says, you're going to suffer for 70-something years. And then when I'm finished, I know the plans that I have for you.
And we don't even know if those plans are bad or not.
Well, it says to prosper you and blah, 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 blah. Okay. But you're right. That's what I said. That's
what
really,
type of prosper? Do it mean that I'm homeless and now I have a fucking dumpster area to live in now? That's prosperous to somebody that had nothing the fuck at all.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know about that. I'm sorry I keep interrupting.
No, it's fine. But what I found, what discouraged me from church was, no matter what situation you were going through, and you spoke on this earlier, the lack of knowledge, which the same Christians who follow the Bible, God says very specifically, my people will perish for a lack of knowledge. So no matter what you're going through, you break an arm, you get married, you get divorced, you get a job, you lose a job, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I'm the head and I'm not the tail. Okay, well, I'm going through a divorce and I'm telling my church this man is abusing me, and all you can say is no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Well, here's the thing. Once I leave church, that weapon's going to prosper. But we're not finding the knowledge for ourselves.
Or maybe, just a thought, maybe we're just at the wrong church, or listen to the wrong. Because all right, so this is what happened to me. This is when I stayed in LA. I forgot what church it is, but it's over there in Echo Park. Echo Park, right? That's in LA, right? Yes. No.
Sure.
Echo. Yes. I think it's Echo Park.
Either way.
Yeah, but it's a church over in LA, and it was a church where some celebrities had went to and so forth.
Talk about West Angeles.
Maybe, possibly. But because they had celebrities going there, like they didn't want like regular people sitting up front. And that just really
West
rubbed
Angeles,
me the wrong way.
Every Sunday the bishop would say, Magic and Cookie are here. And it was 2 other celebrities. And at one point, I remember walking down the aisle and Belle Biv DeVoe was at church. And so I'm not, it may or may not be there. There are two major churches in Los Angeles where celebrities go to. One of them was the one where Brandy ended up getting into it with the pastor. And at that time, I condemned her. But now her questions were very valid. So there are two major churches that celebrities go to. So I can't remember the name of the other one. I used to go to West Angeles.
But it was just like after that it just really bothered me. And I've been to other churches before and where they didn't have celebrities and I still felt at home. But I think for me personally, if I'm gonna go to the church, I want to go to a church where I want your message to move me. Like that's what I'm looking for when I go to church. If you're up there and you're doing your sermon, you know what I'm saying, and even the choir they're singing, if I don't feel it in my soul, in my spirit, to where I feel like I'm connected, like I don't want to go. Like it's just that.
I think, but honestly, I think that's how everybody feels right now, and that's a valid feeling.
But so we shouldn't actually. Maybe it's more about us trying to search and find the right feeling or the right place, as opposed to like, damn, like this motherfucking church I've been going to for motherfucking 7 years, or just falling back on our past experiences and just shaping that as a whole. Like, you know what? All churches are like this because the church I went to gave me a bad experience. So you know what? All churches ain't shit.
No, that's not the truth. What I'm saying is that one thing that has been consistent is the bring the tithes into the storehouse, and then I see pastor's wife with brand new outfits and this and this and that, and I see you may be giving to a pantry here or a pantry there, but like you said, why aren't we rebuilding our neighborhoods? Why aren't we teaching about credit? Why aren't we teaching about investing? Okay, listen, I can sit down with a financial advisor right now and he'll say, Rick, I need $300 a paycheck because in the end, your daughter's tuition for college is going to be paid for. They're going to be able to buy a house. You said you wanted to re-gentrify the neighborhood. I'm going to take a certain percentage here and put this here. I'm all in.
Exactly.
But if you're telling me, give me $300 a paycheck or God's going to fuck you up, you're not getting my $300.
That I completely understand. I'm with both of you when it comes to when you say, okay, well, hey, like, okay, so what are we doing with this money?
What are we doing with it?
Like, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think like,
and if I show up with a flat tire, you going to tell me pray about it. Nigga, I did.
That's still not going to change it. And in the Bible it say, faith without works is dead. Work without faith is dead. Faith without works is dead. So I'm totally fine with you giving me spiritual bread every Sunday and Wednesday night. But at the end of the day, I want something physical. I want something tangible. We're human. So we don't even know if this afterlife that we're going to actually exists. So now we're doing all of this stuff on earth and praying and all of that stuff.
But we're doing it by works. And the Bible specifically says, do it by faith and not works. But the way, and I agree with you, the way the religion is set up is that no matter I've heard preachers say, now don't do this by works, but you're telling me show up in church Sunday and Wednesday, pray, this and that. Make sure you tithe. Doesn't that feel like work?
Yeah, that is work. But that's what I'm saying. Like we have to do both of them. We have to do both of them.
All right, so maybe, just maybe, here's the thought. It's just about discipline. Because I feel like when I've talked with people who are Muslims, they never experience the same thing.
I feel like it's discipline.
What are you saying?
I feel like, okay, so I feel like it's discipline. So when I got my master's degree in corporate training, you learn about andragogy and pedagogy. So andragogy is the way that adults learn. Adults, this is not the way that I was taught in school. Adults don't want to hear shit that you got to talk about unless they understand how it's going to benefit them. Okay? So you say discipline. Okay, so if I decided to do martial arts. I understand that there's a lot of discipline to it. Right now, I'm in the process of losing weight. There's a lot of discipline to it, but I understand what's on the other side. Okay? You don't drink alcohol. You cut out sugars. You do this. If I start doing martial arts, I know that if anyone breaks into my home and tries to do anything to me and my daughters, I got this. I can agree with, pay your tithes, give an offering, come to church, do this, do that. But maybe in a selfish way, or maybe in just the way that we're wired, it seems like when you do everything else outside of the church, you understand discipline, there's a reward. When I get up and I go to work, like I worked overtime today, I understand there's a reward. Seems like when you go to church, you're doing all this work, but the parishioners, the pastor gets the reward, and then you sitting there like, well, I gave you $600, so I won't go to hell. Do I even know that hell is real?
But if you're going, like, I feel like you've already made that subconscious decision. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to follow these things, I'm doing this because whether it's something small or something major, I believe something. Not even everything he's saying, but I believe that there's a God.
But have we really made these decisions, or is that just generational? Because as far as I was concerned, in my house, you better go to church.
Exactly. You're drugged to Sunday school. You're drugged to church. You're drugged to Wednesday night service.
Okay.
And you're indoctrinated.
That excuse can fly with you when you're a teenager.
Really?
When you're
a kid.
Talk
about psychologically.
Yeah,
once
psychologically.
You're grown, I mean, come on now.
Really?
Psychologically,
really?
if you tell a kid at 3 years old, or you teach them at 3 years old that the sky is orange, and you tell them that every single day until they even get in school, and the teacher's wrong, it's really orange, I've
never seen a scientific study say that, but go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just how the human mind works. If you tell yourself a lie long enough, you'll believe it.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of lies in the church, and not lies in the church, but what she's saying is that you get indoctrinated from a very early age. And so it's just embedded in you to believe this in the Bible and do this. That's why it's a lot of people. That's why the new age, they're not going to church anymore because their parents aren't going to church either. Their parents is too busy, trying to get this paper, get this bread and everything. So now the younger generation is understanding a lot of what she's saying, like, okay, I don't need to go to church, or what you're saying actually with your whole YouTube thing. I don't need to go to physically to go to church to know that there's a God. I can sit here, I can do this and whatever. So that's why I'm saying we don't need no damn building. We don't need a building to know about Christ. What we need is for the church to build businesses. So not only does that employ people in the community, but it helps them too. I just don't see the big thing with, going to church. But back to my point, kids that get indoctrinated very young, even if they stray away from the Bible, it's psychologically in their mind to worship this God in the Bible.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I also look at the Bible and most religious literature as just a basic basis on how to be a good person.
Yeah, for sure.
But
that's the 10 Commandments. You don't got to read the whole Bible to know the 10 Commandments. Right there in Genesis.
So it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, you could say that, but I mean, like your ABCs. Okay. Until this day, you will always probably sing your ABCs. Your ABC. It'll be in your mind, even if you try to say it with a straight face. A, B, C, D, E. It's still, that song is still there. Why? Because you learned it when you was a little kid.
Right.
Everything that, the kids are like sponges. They just soak up information and they keep it. So if you're dragging your kid to church every Sunday and Wednesday and 3 o'clock service, then they indoctrinate them. The government don't even got to do it no more. You're going to indoctrinate your own kids at this point. So I just feel like, yeah, it is a little bit of indoctrination. And even though you try to get yourself away from some of the teachings that, the Bible have taught you, you'll always go back, which necessarily, like you said, is not a bad thing. I try to follow the 10 Commandments every chance I get, because I feel like with all these religions, it seems like they're all of them got it 5% right, and the other 95% is bullshit that somebody else just made. But in every religion, there's a good place you go when you die or a bad place you go. Every single one of those religions say, oh, well, you know, these are the commandments, or what would be the commandments in Jewish or the Quran or Buddhism or anything like that. They all have these set rules. And, you know, so I do feel like it's a little bit of indoctrination there, and you really don't need it. I feel like she said, when I was reading my Bible for myself, and that's another reason why I kind of turned away from, you know, not turned away from the Bible, but started to realize that some of this shit is bullshit.
Right.
Some of this is bullshit. But like I said, the 10 Commandments, that's near and dear to my heart, but I can't do it anymore with the church and some of the things in the Bible. I just feel like if you're not building your community up for the next generation, then what are you here for? To collect tithes and for it to be a big, pretty building for people to come see? You know, I don't understand. If the building isn't serve as a purpose for the community, why the fuck is it there?
Well, the one of the biggest things is, you know, in the Bible, in what Christians have a tendency to quote is, do not store your treasures up here on earth. Store your treasures up to get to heaven. So when you're saying that you have these big buildings and you have, you know, in the reality of it is especially in the Black church, you know, every Sunday is a fashion show, and I don't want to discredit that, because we are a people of fashion. We are the originators. We are the creators. You know, everything that we do, unfortunately, it starts out being ghetto until a white person does it, then it's trending. So
no.
Wait.
We are the trendsetters.
We are trendsetters.
That's what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
what I'm saying is that we started.
I just dispute the fact you say, oh, but you know, whenever a white person does this trending, like I think off top, like we're.
And I agree with that. What I'm saying is, okay, so we're the original blueprint, okay, and you know, we are the ones that create the style, the music, the flavor, everything. But if you can't agree with this, what you do, okay, so like my nails, okay, several years ago, this was ghetto. Oh, black girls doing it to their nails is ghetto. Wait. There is a stigma on us that it's ghetto, and then when a white person
Kylie Jenner does
then
it.
all of a sudden, yeah, it's trending. I'm not saying that we don't have the original sauce, okay? But okay, wait. So, because I feel like you want to get into a completely different. What I'm saying is, I appreciate the way we show up to church. I appreciate the way that our style and our flavor and everything about us. But if you look at it scripturally, what's going on in the church, and especially how much we praise Jesus Christ, goes against what Jesus was about. You know, Jesus was about feeding the poor. Jesus, you know, and Jesus was sick, poor. His mama was a baby mama for all intents and purposes. You know what I'm saying? He had half brothers. He lived in the hood. You know, he had a hard life, and it was dedicated to helping the poor.
Amen.
And what we are seeing erected in his name is contradictory to who he was. Period.
I just want to say the most amazing
person in this room is me. Got it.
Never would have thought that. Story in the Bible that I love, that I hope in the future that I can be as humble. Like, I always remember this story. Remember the story in the Bible where God, he washes the stranger's foot?
God. You wouldn't say God. That's grammatically incorrect. Go ahead.
Well, my apologies. I was wrong. I named the wrong person anyway. Jesus washed the man's foot.
Wash feet.
Like to humble yourself.
Humble. Like it's because the H is. Go ahead.
Like, that is so. I hope a matter of fact, I actually pray every day to become more humble. I'm amazing. Get right. But that's all, man. So if you haven't heard that story, read the Bible. Of course, not you two, because I hope you've read it, but the listeners out there, future listeners, past, everything.
I just want to harp on this point, and we'll stray away from this and get into the next topic, but not storing your wealth here on earth. That is very problematic for me. I didn't even know that part. I've read the Bible or whatever. You know, you tend to do that when you're in prison. but not storing your wealth up here on earth, doesn't that sound like generational wealth? When you store your valuables here on earth,
well,
that could be money.
Create
that
generational wealth.
Yeah, that could. So the Bible is literally telling you, hey, don't store up your shit here on earth when that shit that I'm storing here up on earth is gonna create general wealth for my family.
So the Bible is like an insurance policy, and I say that because I will not say what company I work for, but I'm a licensed adjuster. So the insurance policy does this, and this is with every insurance company. The insurance policy gives coverage and then takes coverage away. And the reality of it is when you really go through the Bible, it gives and it takes. It gives and it takes. It gives and it takes. As an adjuster over the years, I can, have a customer, and not with the current company I work for, but I can have a customer hollering, screaming, and yelling at me, you going to do this, you going to do this, fuck you. Okay, well, according to the policy, it says I don't have to do a goddamn thing. Okay? And I'm reading something contractual. I get someone who's humble and says, I can't believe this happened. And my heart goes to single moms or even, and we just don't have any money. Okay, well, according to your policy, I can buy you a new goddamn house. So I feel like the Bible does that too. It gives and it takes. It gives and it takes. It gives and it takes. So yes, store up your treasures in heaven. Well, how am I supposed to do that?
I'm fucking dead. That's why I'm saying in the beginning.
Build generational wealth. So what am I supposed to do? It gives and it takes. It gives and it takes.
That's it's so much stuff about the Bible that I'm just like, ugh. But like I said, don't throw it out. I just feel like you can just take something from every religion.
And you can interpret it your own way.
Yeah.
It's just like fish. It's
Did
fish,
someone
baby.
say potato skins? I really love.
Yeah, you've been trying to get them damn potato skins for a
past,
minute.
like 3 weeks. Yeah.
But y'all did.
So you've been waiting 3 weeks for some potato skins?
Yes, I have.
Ew.
But
Okay.
say something smart. Say something smart. But I want you to.
But y'all did bring up a very interesting topic that I felt like was really good because the divorce rate is pretty high nowadays. People ain't
I love being divorced.
Being married like back in the old days, and we'll get into all of that. But comedian Gary Owens and Strain's wife wants $44,000 a month in spousal support.
Excuse me, I need to.
Gary Owens. So what do we feel about this? I know that y'all had some I didn't know which one to side with because on one end, it's like, yeah, she deserves it, but it's like, bitch, not that much. Not that damn much.
I just want to scoot close to him because of the dialogue we had. But
that's a lot.
I'll go back to my lady.
Yeah,
she deserves something,
Okay.
but not fucking $44,000.
Something.
Okay, so my point was, I said,
Diary of a Mad Black.
oh, see, that's that bullshit.
Huh? What's that?
Is that
Huh?
And you know what? Black
Oh, you
women
heard
are
me?
so tired
I'm sorry,
of
my
that.
bad.
Okay, so my only thing was this. Now, I will say this. When you presented the topic, I didn't know that she was just pursuing spousal support. Me, again, as a single mom, when I went through my divorce, and I had an opportunity to stand in court, and the judge said, do you want spousal support? No. What I want is child support for him to take care of these children, because I will give it to my mom and my grandmother. They built women in our family to, you take care of your own shit. You get your own degrees, you make your own money. Okay? So when you presented the topic, yes, I did say, and I said, well, if they're millionaires and they're accustomed to having $44,000 a month, and now, I'm be honest, in my mind, I'm thinking children because in my situation, I never asked for spousal support. I asked for child support. So I'm saying, okay, well, yeah, it seems kind of fucked up, but if millionaires are accustomed to $44,000 a month, then give those children $44,000 a month. Do I think it's extreme? Yeah. You know, I won't say what I get for child support, but
that's even.
What?
Take your time. Take your time.
That. Okay, well, let's just break down this whole goddamn divorce thing.
Okay, I really want you to talk about child support.
Like, no, okay, all right. One, I'm okay with child support. I have no problem if a man has to pay child support. Cool. I do have a problem with judges say, okay, well, you need to pay like $9,000 a month, $10,000 a month. You know, like really, like I just.
Can I say this? Okay, so to agree with you, as a single mom, I am saying that child support, if you put it on a graph, it goes like this, if you will. So right now,
you think it's fair?
Wait, hold on. Let me just say this. So right now, I'm getting ready to go drop $1,000 on summer clothes. Okay, I'm going to get both of their 2 heads of hair braided, so that's at least $400.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say $250 a piece,
yeah,
like a
so
bitch.
or $500. I mean, real talk, like $500. Okay.
After
and
you get
then
the hair,
you go and then you buy swimsuits, and then I pay for my children to have a membership to Six Flags and Hurricane Harbor. That's $100 some odd a month. My little one is going to some engineering camp. That's, you know, so it comes in waves. So it's like, you know, right now I'm probably going to go drop $2,000-$3,000. Okay. So from May to August, child support levels out. You know, I mean, you know, in the sense of I wouldn't need, if my ex-husband, let's say, was paying an exorbitant amount. So from May to August, I wouldn't need $9,000 a month. But come August, that's school shopping. So then now the $1,000 that I would spend on summer, because basically for the summer they're just wearing shorts and bathing suits, now that goes up to, you know, $2,000 because you got to get shoes, school supplies, blah, blah, blah. So child support works. If you put it on a graph, it works like this.
See, the only issue, like, I feel like, is if it's supposed to be for the child, let it be for the child.
Exactly.
Not because, oh, well, you know, I end up having a child by some famous, wealthy, or even just some regular engineer guy that makes goddamn six figures. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got a baby. I'm not even used to this life, but I want to get all I can, and I'm going to use. So of course I'm gonna use some of the money for the child. At least you hope, and you use the rest on yourself. Like, I feel like, and I'm not in that bracket. You know, I wish I was, but if you're paying child support and you're paying these absorbent amounts, like, it should really be truly accounted for.
Well, it should.
Like,
it should.
Like, it ain't no, oh, okay, well, I get about $12,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Daycare maybe $2,000. Groceries, daycare. Let's say about $5,000-$6,000. But this other motherfucking $7,000-$8,000. Oh shit! I finna go shopping. I finna buy some purses.
I don't agree with that. When I went through my divorce, the one thing I said was, and I'm probably going to get dragged for this. I said in the negative context of it, I refuse to be a baby mama. Okay. Now, 2018, I lost my job, and that summer, I had to survive off of child support, unemployment, and I was in school at that time, school stipends. But even then, even surviving off of those three, I still took child support and, you know, bought them bathing suits and bought this and bought that. Where I am now financially is one child support check goes straight to investments, because I'd be damned if my children have to take out student loans. And the other one, yes, because like you said, 2 heads of hair getting braided, that's $500. So no, I don't believe that child support is supposed to be for you to secure the bag. Listen, if you're getting $12,000 a month, and I'm be honest, yeah, when you really put that shit down on paper, it does take $2,000 a month to take care of 2 kids. It just does.
And
but
I completely
understand.
Yeah, like I understand that. Like I know, like, and shouts out to all the single mothers out there who are genuinely good mothers and doing right by their kids and not taking advantage of the system or anything like that. I'm not coming down on any of those women. Matter of fact, I may not be talking about the women that's pertaining to this conversation. I'm really talking about the women that's really taking advantage of the situation.
I don't agree with that.
You know, and just the 44,000, he's like, oh well, she deserves. Like, if you haven't helped your significant other make the wealth, the riches that he has, how do you deserve that amount? Like I said in the conversation we had, like I feel like in a lot of situations where you have these wives and stuff and they get these crazy divorce settlements and shit, you're nothing but like glorified mascots. Like you just on the sound like, yay, I'm there. But you wasn't at practice with me. You ain't helped write this script with me. You wasn't on the set acting with me.
Because you know where they were? Taking care of their fucking kids.
Okay, so let me say this.
While they're taking care of their kids, and I'm going to say my take on it, but I really want y'all to get into it. Me, personally, starting from the very beginning, I don't think that it should be these crazy amounts of numbers in the 6 digits. That's ridiculous, even if, you know, they do make that type of money to afford that. I just think that that's a lot. And, you know, I think that the conversation of people that are thinking about getting married should be like the conversation of what to do when this is all the fuck over, because prenups have such a taboo on it that they like, oh, I don't want a prenup because that means that you just waiting for some shit to fuck up. But you don't want to be unprotected either, because right now that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, well, we got this show together. This show, when this show blows up, then I mean,
you're gonna have a career, and then someone's gonna offer you something. Someone's gonna offer me something, and shit. My favorite group is just like SWV. You like, okay, well, what do we do now?
Exactly.
Like my grandmother said, mad days gonna come regardless.
Exactly.
Regardless.
So it's like, what do I give my girlfriend in there if we're married? When this blows up. So I think that the conversation with people that's thinking about getting married and they're, you know, have a kind of like a nest egg of money, they need to start having these conversations about who gets what, so that, you know, we don't have to involve lawyers. Because me personally, I don't believe in getting legally married. I don't think that piece of paper means anything. And if I give you a ring and I say that I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, that's exactly what I mean. I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that I shouldn't cheat and lie to you and go do fucked up shit to you. So I don't believe in legally getting married. But Bill Gates, he just got divorced from his wife, or they're separating or whatever, and they came up with the separation contract. I think that is genius. That guy's an evil genius. But I think
see,
that's
even
genius.
then, like she helped. Like they have the whole foundation. Like I told my my girl, like, you know, things go the way that I want for me and entertainment, to where I'm able to do my own stuff, you know, and we get married, you're going to be doing something. So in the event of, God forbid, we get a divorce, it ain't like, well, damn, I done made all this money. She ain't do shit but sit home and I got to give her half. It's going to be, oh, okay, well, she worked for it.
Exactly.
But that's
like,
the
it's
question
cool.
I had for you, because you presented,
because
you said, well, she didn't,
glorified
she didn't write
mascot.
a joke. I said, but how do we know she didn't write a joke?
And even if she didn't write a joke, the reason why he was able to go out and do all of these fucking shows is because she was at home with the kids. So she definitely deserves some of that damn money.
The look
now,
on his face
wrong.
is trying to argue the point that, but that's what, like what did Chris Rock say? That's what you supposed to do. You remember the stand up he had? And he was like, y'all niggas asking for acclimates or shit that you supposed, like, I'm a good dad. Nigga, you supposed to be a good dad. So I feel like you're coming from the angle of, okay, yes, she was watching the kids. Well, she's a mom. That's what you're supposed to do. Instinctively, me as a mom, I'm a go to heaven and hell, earth and the volcano, jump in the fucking volcano for my kids. I get that. But I also understand parenting very clearly is this. Shit stops when you don't have support. Shit stops when you don't have a babysitter.
Exactly.
Last weekend, I just needed to go out just to get away. There was no babysitter. Shit stops.
Okay.
Because those children come first. So if she stepped back to help him advance his career.
Exactly.
Instead of saying, fuck your stand-up, you better come home and get these
so,
motherfucking kids.
Because guess what? I got to go to college classes in 5.
Okay, all right.
She allowed him to produce
this
that
is
fucking
where
career.
you start removing layers.
Okay.
So let's remove the first one. What's the first one you got?
Now, if it was true that, you
It's
know,
definitely
hey,
true. They
well,
have kids
no,
together.
let me finish. Oh, where you gave up your career and stuff, but y'all been married for like, what, how long? 20 some years? Mm-hmm. Gary has been known for a good, and it could have been definitely been more.
20-something years.
No, I'm talking about like as famous. Like I want to say like at least at the bare minimum 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kids that y'all have are not like some little toddlers.
No, they're grown.
So it's like, okay, so at what point were you going to start taking responsibility for yourself? Because I feel like after your kids are grown and your man has been making money for this long, you can't be like, oh, well, I just gave up my career and, you know, shit, I'm just going to sit back. I'm just going to chill. But hold on, like the kids been grown. I would like to think when the kids at least get teenagers, you can do something. You got comfortable. That's what that was.
And that's the one reason why I agree with you about not giving that type of money, because
now,
I do think
$44,000 just for you to sit on your ass for the rest of your life? No.
Yeah, that's
what
don't
get me
saying.
wrong. Now, I'm not knocking single mothers. I think in that situation you should get something. But if the kids are grown, if I were to meet another woman right now and she's fucking rich and she just happens and we have a lifestyle. As a matter of fact, I know most mothers tell their daughters, because hell, I tell like a couple of my daughters this: put your money away.
Yeah. You
ain't got to tell nobody. So for you to be with a motherfucking multimillionaire and you got all this money going around and shit, and he has it like that, and you ain't got no nest egg.
Exactly.
That's
why
I'm saying
that's a you problem.
Yeah, that's on you. And how the fuck are you blowing $40,000 a month?
Yeah, like, that's why I agree with you about that. Like, not that motherfucking much, but yeah, because you was in the trenches with me.
Yeah, like
you do deserve something.
I give you some about $7,000-8,000
a
month.
7 or 8
you know what I'm
like
saying?
The ideal, bro.
But like 44,000.
Because I'm sorry that you didn't go out and go create your own wealth while I was creating mine. Like, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Let me
standing
tell you
in the trenches with me.
$8,000 before taxes a month is a great fucking lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. Like, I had this one girlfriend or whatever, and I had just got out of fucking prison and I started welding. I went to welding school, started welding, and she was kind of like that, you know, kind of got comfortable with me taking the ranges of doing everything, paying all the bills, and I didn't mind it. Honestly, I didn't, because, you know, I'm the dominant one in my relationship.
That money, it feels good.
Yeah.
Like, you pay your shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the leader of my household. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I turn around and I'm like, okay, no, this isn't going to work, because this economy isn't built for just one person to work now, especially with this type of money that I'm making, which was a little over fucking $500, $600 a week. So I'm like, no, like, if we're planning on building this empire together, let's work together. So you was there, making sure everything was straight at home while I was going to work in school and probation and all of that shit. Now I'm in the welding space and I need only 6 months experience to go get something that's a little bit better, $18, $19 an hour. Now I think it's time for you to start going to school. Oh, she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to do that. So like you're saying.
Too bad, fucky, sorry for you.
Exactly. It's just like you're saying. If you're not trying to build your own fucking nest egg, and then you expect, just imagine if we was married. Then, do I have to pay fucking 10% of my fucking paycheck because I let you sit around and you didn't
I am
create
not
anything?
tithing to you.
Yeah, so it's just like,
So
she should have been. Yeah, she should have been building her own wealth.
I thought that when you presented that, you were presenting, because again, this is my thought pattern, because every time child support hits the bank, I'm thinking about, and it's hard for me not to say my babies' names, but I don't want to say them in public, but I'm thinking about my babies. Anyone who knows me knows that at the beginning and the end of the day, it's about the two of them.
Right.
So when I presented that, I said, well, if it and maybe I should have elaborated, if it takes $44,000 to take care of her and those babies, then yes. And I said that. I said because, the way that we view finances is different from the way that the rich do. Okay? So what I get for child support as a regular ass woman may be the equivalent of what a millionaire expects to live off of. But again, I thought that this was for her and the 3 children they have?
I don't know how many children. I know just like after 20 years, even if your kids are not completely grown, your kids are old enough to where you could have got your ass up and started doing something.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just fall off on, oh, well, I gave up on my career to, stay home and support you and shit. Like,
but I will say that society, in a lot of cases, especially, and I'll say that I'll double back, that the last church I went to, when I said my ex-husband is abusing me, and they were like, I don't feel that God is saying that. Okay, well, these women were stay-at-home wives. They had no education, no nothing. What they were dependent upon is being able to continue to live in these mansions in Frisco. So again, you're talking about a mindset also. You're stuck in that mindset that says, I cannot do anything or other than this, or I am obligated to be this. Not that it's acceptable. Because I remember, and this is another issue we'll go to about race. I'm sitting in a room full of white women, and they living in mansions. I've got 2 degrees versus they none. And you sitting here, trying to talk tough and down to me. And I'm like, bitch, I make more money than all of y'all. I'm more educated than all of y'all. But you're sitting here, and the solution that you're giving me to my problem is the solution that you would give to yourself. I'm trapped in this. I need this $44,000 a month. Because of my mindset, that's all I'm capable of doing. So you give me $44,000 a year for my babies, and we,
and we even, baby, we good.
We eating over here. Shit. But yeah, that was like a pretty good topic that I really felt like needed to be said, because like I said, 44,000 is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's somebody's fucking salary for the year.
That's more than some CEOs.
Yeah, and like, man, that's crazy.
It is. But did y'all hear about that Dunkin' Donut situation that happened in Florida? For the people that don't know in the audience, when a Dunkin' customer, he said some racial slurs to an employee he was upset about. The service that he was receiving. He was a 77-year-old man and a regular. And the manager of this company, Corey Paholes, I think he's like Caribbean or something, but he black, y'all. The police told the police that the man was being extremely rude and called him a racial slur. When asked to repeat what he said, the elderly man repeated the slur, and Paholes, I don't think I'm saying his name right, punched him once in the face. The blow caused him to hit his head on the floor, and that man died, and this guy's going to be looking at a bunch of years. How did y'all feel about that?
He should get so much fucking time for that. Like,
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, because when someone calls me a nigger, I laugh, because when you look at Webster's definition of a nigger, someone who's ignorant, someone who, I am none of that. You
matter
know,
of fact, it's
my instinctive reaction. Yes, you say, "Hey, nigger," I'll be like, "What?" And then I have to collect myself to say, "Okay, I'm not a nigger." And when we really look at the definition of it, who's really being a nigger? I feel like we got to stop going off of our knee-jerk reactions.
Thank you. Like, he was so stupid. I am so disappointed, and I'm gonna be disappointed in anybody. One, okay, so we all have this mental, and it's a lot of black people, especially on social media. They're like, "Oh, free him. He innocent," and I'm like, okay, so
Shit.
Of your grandmama
Breonna
get punched
Taylor
in
was
the face,
innocent.
then
Yeah,
what
Breonna
happened?
Taylor was innocent.
because it's like, okay, one, he was an older man in his 70s. I believe he was a former,
77. 77.
77.
Old as hell, man.
I want to say he probably was a veteran. And I guarantee, like, if you're fortunate enough to have a grandmother or a grandfather, when they get up in age, if they're going through any kind of mental issues, dementia, or anything like that, they have those type of episodes. I also feel like, what kind of a person are you to have a 70-something year old individual trick you out of your life?
Okay, well let's turn this around. Let's turn this around. What if the tables were turned and a black person said, your Medea, your big mama, your grandmother said, this cracker, and a white boy busted her in her face and she died. Al Sharpton. What's the other dude's name? The sister. What's the sister who's getting a lot of fame? The civil rights activist, Benjamin Crump. All of them would have been lined up to, we want justice. And I agree with you. That's what I see, unfortunately, in the black community, is we're not really assessing this situation. Like the last podcast, you guys helped me. It's still in my heart. I still feel like these race soldiers out here killing us. But the reality of it is this young lady, Makia, had a knife. And in my mind, I was like, well, it was just a steak knife. Well, hold up. You come at my daughter with a steak knife,
that energy
I'm
gonna be
fuck
different.
you up.
And the energy gonna be different.
She would not have been the one that had been. The police would have had to shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when it comes to the black community, we're not thinking about. I agree.
Right.
Okay. So let me say this. Tyrese at one point said, "When are we gonna stop making movies about slavery?" And I feel like, when are we gonna stop letting that word be our trigger reaction?
I'm upset about how. One, I look at slavery different. This may be controversial, probably will be controversial, but I don't care.
You're the devil's advocate.
So, one, I get upset when the first thing when we think of as black people is slavery. When, for me, like, I think back a little bit further, like before we were slaves, we was kings. Like,
the Bible is about us, okay?
Like, so one, I get upset about that when that's what we think of.
Right, we believe that
we were so much more than that.
We were indoctrinated to believe that was our genesis.
And two, here's the controversial part. I'm not necessarily or hold a hatred towards white people for slavery, because it's my personal belief, and I haven't really been disproven. If somebody got some facts or something they could drop to me, I would love to read it. That all races, well, black people, kind of enslaved.
We enslaved each other.
Other people, no, not even each other, like other races, because we were kings and queens, like we ran shit.
Like you said, when you read the Bible, and the Babylonians versus this, and this versus this, and this, and God said, go conquer them and kill them. That was all black skin. So yes, you're right.
So like, I kind of look at it like it's a whole circle. Like, everybody has enslaved everybody. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened in our situation, like we had our turn first to where like we got to run shit, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and then we got out of the situation. So I don't hold that type of, because of my thinking when it comes to slavery and how it's happened to all races across the world, like I don't hold that hatred towards white people for slavery.
I think the thing is that just what you said. So, you know, we did what we did when we were royalty, but it faded away. What we're dealing with as black folks right now is the systemic, the residual systemicism, if you will, of it.
And when you say that, could you be a little bit more specific? Because sometimes I feel like it's more of a, it's in the mind thing. Because I feel like, can you say, like, all right,
want some potatoes. I want to go to bed.
Like, there are more people who graduated college, black people that graduated college.
Do you know black women are among the most educated people
hold on,
on
let me finish.
earth?
Let me finish.
Let's hear
that
this.
Then there are in prison. But we don't talk about that, do we?
Okay, so let's talk about the media, because you said last week that the media keeps putting out, you know, these stories about black this and black this and black and white. But you said statistically that police kill as many white folks as they kill black people.
Absolutely.
So when you say mindset, if this is something that you keep feeding the mindset.
And that's why I think all people should be more willing to dive deeper, to learn more.
People ain't willing to go past TikTok
Me?
right now.
I know. Which is why I think that's where a lot of our problems lies.
Not willing
You
to
know
go
what I'm
past
saying?
TikTok.
Me personally, I'm kind of like y'all at this point. I just feel like the word nigga, white people saying it, I'm just over it pretty much. Like, that doesn't help us financially. Like, you don't sign my checks, whether you think I'm a nigga or not, I still got a job tomorrow. Like, we all probably work for racist ass people now, but you don't stop going to work, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, let people call you what they want to call you. You're not going to change their mind.
Well, I ain't saying all that.
You have to change the reaction.
I would just like some potato skins.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand that you're saying, oh, don't let people just call you whatever. But if it's between you feeding your family tomorrow, or you know, going to fucking jail or putting up this persona of black power, me punching you in the face at black power. Like, I don't care about that. I care about feeding my family. You,
while
sir,
you're at work, so you was gonna get fired anyway.
Exactly.
So.
You, sir, at fucking Dunkin' Donuts, the regular that's fucking getting your
You got fired over a jelly donut, my nigga.
He got killed over a jelly
I'm just
donut.
saying, but it's just like,
so it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, I just really don't be giving a fuck about what people think, white or black. Like, black people think I'm corny as hell, and then I'm a Trump supporter and and I'm an atheist and shit. And I don't give a fuck what black people think.
I don't care if you hate Jesus, but you can't support Trump.
Yeah, it's because I fuck with his motherfucking policies. I fuck with Trump policies, bro. Them motherfuckers. If you're an entrepreneur, or you're thinking about owning a business, most of his policies would have helped you the fuck out. But we were too blinded by the media saying that he's this bad guy, the same guy that gave fucking money to HBCUs when the black alumni was not coming the fuck back to pour money back into that. He gave it. But I'm not saying, I don't want to go on that tangent against Trump or Biden or any of that shit, because I try to stay out of.
Show me the proof.
Oh,
okay.
Now, I just want some potato skins, and I just want to go to bed.
But I'm just over the symbolism of what free is, and free to black people is white people not calling
Gucci
us
belts,
niggas. We have way too many fucking problems right now to be worried about if white people call us niggers or not. I just don't care about that type of shit. That doesn't sign my checks at the end of the day. If he was a manager, right? he
I believe it was the manager. I don't know.
He was a
Then
manager.
you have
It says it.
You
He
have
has a
an
manager.
obligation.
It says it right here that he's a fucking manager. So
have
at the
an
end of the day,
obligation.
you buying fucking donuts in my shop that I manage over, you calling me nigger does not fuck with my paycheck at all. Whether you get them or
the
not, or
worst
whether you
thing
call
that
me
I
a
would've
nigger or
done
not, that doesn't
is
matter. I don't
probably
care
would've
about
squeezed
that
that
shit.
jelly out that donut on his ass, but I wouldn't.
I just don't care
I
about
would
that
have
type
put
of shit.
mustard in his donut.
So look, basically
don't
what
care
we're
about
trying
that
to
type
say
of
is
shit.
like, people, please stop letting people trick you out your life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because
Yeah.
now
Over a name
you finna do some
and over
time
their
because you
ignorance.
want to punch on a 70-some-year-old man. You know what? If it was just like somebody in the 20s and
And then why
30s,
did it-
I can understand. Like, oh, okay, like fuck it. Like, you felt disrespected, but somebody 70.
Exactly. Like, why did you even
But why are
feel
we not
threatened
thinking
by
about
that? Why
A
did you even
70-year-old man, you
fucking
feel
threatened
threatened?
by a 70-year-old man? You know what I would do at a 70-year-old man? Like, I would literally laugh.
I would
like,
laugh.
you're saying that because you can't fight me, nigga. Because I'm in my fucking 20s and you 70 and you sitting up here at the crack of dawn buying fucking donuts.
But we're talking about mindsets. Let's think logically. And this is me. I'm a nigger. Okay, tell me the definition of a nigger. I'm the type of person, I'm going to trip you up mentally. No, give me the definition of a nigger. Well, you're a nigger because you're black. Sir, that's incorrect. Give me the definition. I'm gonna have a battle of the wits with you.
Yeah.
Instead of, trying to, because again, what we need to understand, and as a mom and as a single mom, at the beginning and the end of the day, and please edit my children's name out, when I wake up in the morning and when I go to sleep at night, it is about nothing fucking else. And if we can't think about that, whatever your is, we need to think about that before we make irrational, negatively emotional decisions.
We do. Because
Okay.
Say something.
Because they getting us at all motherfucking points.
What
They
you
getting
say?
us
Something.
financially.
Say something else.
Let go and let God.
They getting us financially out here. They getting us with the food. They getting us mentally. At some point, we just have to stop feeding into the fucking bullshit of white supremacy or whatever you want to call it. Me personally, I just don't care about that shit. I don't care if someone calls me a nigger. You don't sign my paycheck.
I know I'm
you don't
not.
sign my paycheck. Because at the end of the day, when
Hey,
you
I'm
ain't
like
saying all that. Don't
Nip,
call me no
long
nigga.
live Emperor Nip. I be damned if I slave for a white cracker. So my mindset is, I do what I have to do right now, but I'm going to be a lender and not a borrower. And in order to get there, I have to make rational decisions and exercise self-control.
All right, so you're the person to go to when we trying to get some money and shit.
We sitting in this room because we getting this money. So
How
eventually,
much time we got over there, E?
I would like to have some potato skins and go to bed, please.
Oh,
We
shit.
need to stop.
Yeah, I'm like,
Wow.
oh, shit.
Time
that-
has certainly flew by.
Ooh, it sure did. But
Such an amazing time.
shit,
Yes,
y'all
right.
go ahead and give out y'all socials. I'm gonna do the same
Please edit my children's name.
for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yo, what's up again? This is Malik Anthony, aka the Devil's
One,
Advocate.
2, 3.
You can
Well,
find me at Malik
I
MELIK
said
underscore
and
Anthony
it's
at all the
the
different
FS
social
social
media
business.
sites.
And there you go.
Being an asshole. I'm sorry.
You were one last week. It's okay.
You're one
It's
every
normal.
day. It's fine. Thank you. I just want some potato skins and go to bed.
You ain't gonna give out your socials this week?
Oh, just fucking old ass person on Facebook. I'll do it next week. I'll be better prepared next week.
She probably
Okay,
won't.
you can
What'd
reach
you
me.
say?
No. Okay, you can reach me on An Hour with Crowder on Instagram, An Hour with Crowder on Facebook as well, and Crowder the Great on Twitter. And you can catch all of the episodes every Tuesday on all streaming platforms such as Apple Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, all of those great websites and links will be in the description, you guys. Follow me and my co-host as well. And we out, y'all. That is an hour with Crowder. Boom.